outside to get some food, just chat for a minute. Then I'd like to say a few words. The commission would like to give Al something special. And then I encourage anybody else who'd like to talk, and whatever. So it'll be a few minutes. So everybody, including guests, please feel free to take something from here and enjoy it. And we'll start in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's only fair to point out that with this nice spread here, we got a full house on time.
Yeah. Feed them and they will show.
Well, we know where your hearts are.
Do they know? Not yet.
All right, we're going to deviate from the menu just a bit. Boy, you guys are real talkers. You scared me.
Listen, I understand why it was a 40-year lease, because it takes 40 years to read the damn thing.
We'll find that mistake on page 83.
Hey Dan, what committee is it over?
Who is that going to be? I don't know. Yet to be named.
Al, I would like to say a few words. I want to thank you for as much as you have done for our airport. It's an amazing testimony to your 30 years of service, most of which has been here at the airport. When this airport started, it was when you got here, long before I got here, it was just a little dinky drink water place with a little funny counter and sort of a baggage claim area. The pictures, you look back on them now and you say, oh my God, how'd they ever get anything done over there? I specifically want to talk about your devotion to the airport, which is unbeatable. And the care and love you've shown for the airport over the years has manifested itself in this incredible facility. And I want to thank you for your hard work. It is not an easy task, and I know some days have been challenging would not even be a fair word. They've just been awful. But there have been other days that have been great, and that's what it's about. And you've handled them with great professionalism, and that's really important. On behalf of the commissioners present and past commissioners who have called me to say to wish you well, we definitely want to do that. I want to thank you for 3 things in particular. One, for creating a very professional and hardworking staff. People who are loyal to the airport, loyal to the business of making this airport really run well. Your senior staff reflects down to your junior staff. Everybody who works in this airport is special, and they feel that. And I think that's a tremendous accomplishment for a manager and a leader. I want to thank you also for shepherding us through some very difficult times. When I first got here, most people don't remember this, we were in the middle of a crisis with the FAA over the fact that the city, we were leasing land to the city and they were leasing it back and they were sending money back and forth, and the federal government came down with a large hand slap. Jane, you may have not.
I'm just coming on board.
And they were less than gracious about it, and we had to do a lot of things to make that right. And Al saw through that. We got it squared away, and we're still in business, and that's what counts. Additionally, 9/11 was an incredible struggle, and the change of idea every day of what security was about is hard to believe how well you managed that and actually made it work. We've become a showplace for security, and I think that's really an accomplishment. And I suppose the most noticeable thing is the incredible physical improvement to our airport. We have everything from an air museum, which took some doing to get here, to infrastructure that is second to none. We have brand new runways, we have brand new taxiways, we have lengthened the runway, which was quite a little operation. We still have one last cleanup to do, and that'll be the last of the sound installation program. Incredible. Fire station, fire trucks, but most noticeably this wonderful new terminal. It's truly a monumental thing to build a terminal, to design it, to live with it, to make it happen. When I came on board, we put the plans on hold because we didn't want to stress the airlines dollar-wise. And our goal was 500,000 passengers. Once we got to 500,000, we would click the switch and go. When we hit 500,000, we kept thinking, well, let's give it one more year. This may not hold. This year looks like we'll be 1.2 million, something like that. Tremendous increase in traffic. Partially because of the new terminal, partially because of the hard work of your staff and yourself. I want to thank you for that. And I don't know, I think the best way that I like to think of it is that this is the airport that Al built. And that's truly the case, Al. At least make you stand for this. This has been built by the loving care of your staff, and I think it's really wonderful. This is something you can take with you, put on your wall, put in your front yard, put in your garage, whatever seems right.
Do I have to carry it?
Yeah, it's heavy. This comes from the old days when it was truly was the Palm Springs Regional Airport, and it's presented to you in commemoration of your vision and leadership on behalf of the entire Palm Springs Airport. Thank you. And I would specifically thank Larry for working on that and making what was really a poor piece of metal that they found in the back into something really wonderful. So, thank you. Thank you. If anybody wants to add anything, they're certainly welcome to. Robert?
Well, Margie called the other day and said we were going to have breakfast and inviting people to give a few kind words. I couldn't pass up an opportunity like that. I think what Chuck has said covers it all, and I was thinking, what am I going to say about Al? Just I could say in this company. I joined this August group 6 years ago, something like that. Jerry was the airport manager at the time, and then when she had to take medical leave and retirement, Al came back and stepped in a seamless change of management, and we went on and on. And then I got to looking at some of the paperwork we get, and it's all signed by Alan F. Smoot. Well, I don't blame this on Al, but I think his parents made a mistake. The middle initial should be G for Grant. Because Al had become a master of securing grants from the federal government primarily, which have made a lot of this happen. And so I think you ought to change your name, Al.
Jay?
I too wondered what I was going to say, but I think I had probably one of the nicest compliments the other night. I had dinner on Monday night with a fellow from the Follies, and we got to talking about the airport, and he had nothing but compliments. Everything from rates to the airport Al built. And his comment to me, and I thought that I did not solicit this, he said there will never be a replacement for Al Smoot, and everybody's really sorry to see him leaving, and I think that's everybody's feeling, and this is the airport Al built.
Thank
And I
you.
feel just that way.
Okay, we can move on to, oops, Gary, did you want to speak?
Yeah, I'm just going to say, those of us who are retired, I know it's been a struggle working, sometimes some of the difficulties you had, but one thing for sure, when you wake up in the morning when you're retired, you know you're going to have a good day.
Here, here.
And I just wanted to have a toast, since we're drinking all the champagne this morning, a toast to you, Al.
Sure. And when are you going to get that convention center built? Already.
All right, thank you again, Al. It's such a pleasure. Did you want to say something?
Can I say something?
Sir, of course.
Never been bashful. I want to thank you for your kind comments. Thank you for that. That's lovely. I'll have to figure out how to hang it on the wall. Or mount it on the wall. But I just want to thank you for your support. I mean, without a good, strong commission, we wouldn't be able to do the stuff that we do. And the we is the staff, and I thank Chuck for pointing out the quality of staff that we've all built here, and they're a super staff, and I know they will carry on in good fashion, and that you will be in good hands. And I won't disappear from the scene. I'll be around, I'm sure, somewhere. But I want to send around this picture, because this is the picture that was hanging on the wall in my office when I first got hired in Palm Springs and at the airport. And it's a picture of what the airport was at the time. And it was the Palm Springs Municipal Airport, and it had a nice little tight road right in front of the building, and had a baggage claim that was outside, and you had to get off the airplane and walk across the ramp. It really didn't have any security at all. You could just walk out on the ramp if you wanted to. And so when you look at that picture, I can remember one of the first projects we had to do was we didn't have enough parking. We had to expand that roadway, and we paid hell to convince the people at the time that the customers could actually turn right and drive away from the terminal and actually end up back at the terminal and feel okay about it. And that was a real fight. And if you look at the road today, we send them halfway to San Diego before they get to turn around and come back towards the terminal now. And it was the same thing with baggage claim, and it was the same thing with the terminal and everything. And it's been, there's been struggles along the way, but they've been fun. I mean, I really look forward to them. That's why I get up and come to work is for the ability to do the construction projects and those kinds of things, because they're I guess I can express myself best in those, so I really appreciate that. And anyway, that's why we started. The nice thing is when I retire, I'll always be able to see what's sitting out there and know that I was part of that. And I'm proud of that, happy to had the opportunity to work here as long as I have. And that's unusual for someone to be able to spend their entire adult working career in one location, except for one little short month that I left here in a mistake and came back. And so anyway, I want to thank you very much, and I appreciate everything. I appreciate the things the staff did for me too. Thanks, guys.
You bet. Thank you.
I think that'll bring back sports car races.
Yes.
All right, let's move back to the agenda so we can be official. Staff certification, posting of the agenda. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Gazelle.
Here.
Bosworth.
Here.
Callahan.
Here.
Shield.
Here.
Drysky. Here. Duncan.
Here.
Ellsner.
Here.
Frieden.
Here.
Luders.
Here.
Lovett. Miller.
Present.
Packer.
Present.
Sisson.
Here.
Sherman.
Here.
Spicer.
Here.
Mr. Bucksbaum is excused, and Tyler.
Here.
The roll's been called.
Thank you very much, Marguerite. Move for, great picture. Sorry. I'll move for approval of the minutes from November 5th's meeting.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Correction. I guess I had trouble with multi-syllable words, so on page 7, the word exorbitant, and I should have pronounced it more clearly. It comes out as absorbent, and I apologize to Marjorie for slurring over the word, but if you make that correction at the bottom of paragraph 4. Anyway, of the minutes, if you could make that correction.
Where you see the word exorbitant.
Where you see absorbent, make it exorbitant.
Middle of the page.
Yeah.
Spell check wouldn't fix it for me.
It works, right?
There's another minor
Yes.
spell check on 13 in the very first paragraph. It should be the debt service ratio instead of ration.
Okay. On page 13.
Yeah, at the very top. The resolution.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It's your ratio.
No, I see it here. All right, with those changes, all those in favor,
Did somebody
please,
move?
pardon me?
Somebody move?
I move adoption
I'm
with
sorry.
the corrections.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And those who oppose? Minutes are published. This is now the time for public comment. Anybody in the general public who'd like to say anything, they have 3 minutes at the airport. We'll be glad to listen. And if not, seeing nobody racing towards the microphone, we will continue with the agenda. The second item is the flight signature lease support agreement. Mr.
Mr. Berry?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I could just go back to the first item real quick.
All right.
I'm sorry. That's okay. I think as staff, we should also thank Al because it's really hard to realize that this is his last meeting and as the Airport Commission Director here. I think it's starting to sink in for all of us and we're all getting a little nervous about it as well. It's really hard to know what to say. It's been really great working for Al. I mean, he's set the example of excellence that really no one can surpass. It's just an honor and a privilege. He's taught all of us so much, you know, that we can take now and use in our careers and hopefully continue to advance the airport. You know, it's very difficult to ever get out in front of Al. Every time you think you have something figured out, he's already 10 steps ahead of you, already got the staff report written. And, you know, we've learned from that, and hopefully we can continue that on in the future. But I just want to thank Al and thank him for all his leadership and all his dedication and just for being the boss that he is and setting an example for the rest of us. And I've asked some of the other staff if they'd like to say anything as well.
Well, I would have to agree with Barry's sentiments. It's been fantastic working for Alan, and all the vision that he's shared with staff over the years is really going to help all of us be able to move forward in the future and hopefully do even 70% of the job that Alan's been able to do over his tenure. But our commitment is to the airport, is to this commission, and we will do our best.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, can we move?
Okay, signature flight support lease agreement. Yes, Mr. Chairman, we're asking that the commission recommend approval of this new lease agreement, which will supersede all of the previous agreements, which are about this thick, so at least I didn't make you read all of those, between the City of Palm Springs and Signature Flight Support Corporation in a form acceptable to the city attorney. And when I say that, I realize there are quite a few typos and there are a few other issues in this agreement that we're working on. Jeff Heck, our GM, is here from Signature Flight Support to answer any specific questions. As you may recall, we went over the proposed plans in September, which include a new executive terminal, 16 new 20,000 square foot box hangars directly off of Taxiway Golf, and future development of other of the vacant parcels that are on that area as well. One of the things I need to correct right off the bat is the term is not going to start December 1st, as you may understand. I'd hoped to have brought this to you at the last commission meeting, but the city attorney had some additional issues that he wanted to go through. I'm planning on hopefully taking this on December 19th to the council, where the term will start January 1st, and it will be a 40-year lease, an extension to the existing lease. We have done a fair appraisal of the property, and we have a fair appraisal amount, which is represented in the monthly amount shown there. There are several parcels shown that they'll be taken as part of this new lease, and there is an exhibit on the very back, which is just there for your reference. We do have to clean up that a little in the lease still, so it all coincides, but basically that is the property map that they will be taking in the future. The development again is a new executive terminal and the box hangars, and in addition they're allowing us the use of their existing facility for our customs general aviation processing center. They're additionally doing an option on the 21-acre parcel north of the radar facility with the understanding that if we have any potential developers who may come in there later, they would have an opportunity then to decide whether or not they want to stay there and pay the lease or allow the new development to occur. Additionally, they are taking our T-hangars and we'll get a percentage rental from that, and they will take over all the maintenance and the management of that. We're continuing to work with Signature Flight Support to finalize some details. In fact, I just talked to Jeff as we came in. We still have a couple of issues to deal with the old bird hangar parcel. And additionally, we've added parcel 14, which is on the very corner over there off of Civic. We think this is a very healthy thing for the airport. It's good for general aviation. It's also good for non-airline revenue. It's very important that we proceed in this direction, and we're hopefully asking the commission to see it that way and recommend council approval. I won't go over the details of the lease unless you have any specific questions, but I'm asking the commission to recommend this to the council for approval.
I make a motion that we recommend it.
Moved by Tyler, seconded
By Jerry.
Mr. Chairman. Okay, any comments, questions of Mr. Pat?
All due respect to our local newspaper, Brian, that was a good article about this in the paper the other day with one exception. It implied that the property would be owned by Signature, and I think this takes precedence over that.
Yes, we apologize. That was a little premature. Jeff and I are working on communicating a little better, and he understands that the property is the leasehold. The property actually belongs to the airport.
Any other comments, Larry?
I'm looking at page 4, paragraph 211, the expansion parcel and the right of first refusal. And I note that there are option terms. And the first question is, have you looked at the potential revenue off of developing and leasing the 21 acres and contrasting that with the option income? Are you getting enough option income to give them the right of first refusal? And the reason I ask that is I have some experience in real estate, and I know that when a piece of property has a right of first refusal by some other party, an interested party is not going to be as interested to do the due diligence, to do the planning, to do the economic analysis, knowing that there's somebody standing back there that can take the property and exercise this right of first refusal. So there's an potential economic loss to have this kind of a deal in here. And so my question comes back, are the option payments sufficient to offset that potential economic loss? And it's kind of a rhetorical question because you may not have done that analysis. But I'd take a hard look at that and is this a big piece? Is this an important piece of your deal? If it's not particularly important, it's not a deal breaker, I'd suggest you really take a hard look at that.
Well, you actually just hit it right on the nail. It is a deal breaker. It was one of the things that Signature was very concerned about in terms of having first right of refusal on that property. However, we haven't done a detailed analysis to see what lost revenue would be. This was basically something the attorney and Alan and I discussed. And they are also well aware that if we have a developer who may be interested in that property, we will definitely pursue it and give them the first right. And if they choose not to exercise the option, then they lose that right, and then we can proceed forward. But I do understand your comments in terms of it possibly dissuading someone in the future.
If a new developer were to come in, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If a new developer were to come in and do all that survey work and the option is then exercised, would Signature be responsible for the costs? Or
Yes,
just-
they would begin paying the fair market value for that land.
And also the survey costs that the new developer wanted?
No, the Signature would have the option then to lease the property and do their own development, or forego the option, and then the developer would pay for all those costs.
That's where I think you're coming from.
Yeah, the new developer would take the risk, and just in general, if you have a property A and a property B, and A has a right of first refusal on it, you're not going to be as interested in that because you do all the work and you make a deal.
And the expenses too.
And then here comes, the underlying right of first refusal holder can take it away.
Does the current potential possible developer have a sense that there's going to be a right of first refusal on that property?
Well, currently, there's really no one that's that interested in the property. There is potential in the future with some existing tenants, but at this point, there's no one beating down the door.
I know in the 12 years I've been here, we've tried to lease every piece of property on the airport. It's not happened somewhere. I mean, that doesn't mean the future's going to look like the past, but it's a challenge to lease airport property. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose? Passes. Use agreement permit application insurance requirements for taxi cab operators.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and members of the commission, we recently began the process of renewing our permits with all of our commercial ground transportation operators. And one of the things that's been in the permit for a number of years is the requirement for $750,000 in general liability insurance. We have discovered that our regulatory agency that regulates taxi cab operators, Sunline, has only required $300,000 general liability insurance during that same time frame, and we have always accepted that as sufficient due to the fact that they are the regulatory agency who oversees the operations for the taxi cab operators throughout the valley and the airport. So we're just asking you to recommend that we accept any of the regulations that Sunline would enforce on the taxi cab operators to be acceptable in our permit as the general liability requirement. Just to also note that we will continue to require $750,000 from the larger shuttle type operations, which will continue to be in the permit. So we're recommending that you recommend to the council approval to accept the regulations that Sunline has regarding taxi cab operators for their line insurance.
A motion. So moved by Bill, second by Dan. Any discussion?
Barry, I know that there is an ongoing movement by the Cab Owners Association to get Sunline out of the picture. This has happened before without success, and who knows what's happened this time. So is this written such that if some new regulatory agency takes over and sets a different limit, we're going to have to go back and re-examine it? Or,
I was just talking now about this before the meeting, and we will bring that back if that occurs.
Okay.
Took care of my question.
Mr. Chairman? Yes, Bob. I was watching the city council, the recent city council meeting, and a whole parade of cab owners got up and said, oh, it's going to drive us out of business if we have to go 750. Is that smoke, or is this going to have a severe impact on the ability to have taxis transport people from the airport? I mean, I know they don't want to pay more premiums than they have to, but.
Yeah, they operate on a pretty tight profitability margin. I mean, this will help them and continue to allow us to get the service we need, so.
Okay. So they won't line up at tonight's city council meeting, and, well, they may, but.
They may, but this is a good thing for them.
Yeah.
What in cost approximately is the difference between 300 and 750? To them, in their policy?
I'm not totally sure.
They claimed it would put some of them out of business, several $1,000s, I think. It's
Is
not-
what they said?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact figure. Yeah,
Premium doubles,
doubles.
what is it about now, about $150?
$3,500
Mr. Chairman.
a year, $3,500 a year.
So it doubles the premium, around $7,000.
Yes, Bill.
I think that's a very small deal. I'm in the process of buying some liability for something now, and my rates are going up about 15% a year, and then 2.5 times that plus 15%. I don't think 3,500 is going to touch it.
Okay, is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those who oppose? Carries, passes. Hospitality Industry Business Council.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, it's recommended that the Airport Commission endorse the application of Richard Strickland to the Convention and Visitors Authority Hospitality Industry Business Council. Richard's been very involved with the desert resort communities and the CVA, and by doing that, they've been very involved with the airport in support of our air service programs, and they've asked him to be a part of this council, and I think it's important that he represents the city and the airport there, and we're recommending his approval.
So moved.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oops, question.
I just want to know whether Richard's going to be representing the airport or the city or both. And also whether this was voluntary or whether somebody twisted his arm.
Does he want to do it?
I didn't hear the end statement that you made.
Were you drafted or did you?
I was asked if I would join the HIBC. I certainly would like to do so, but because I'm a city employee, they certainly felt it appropriate that the commission recognize this and then it moved forward for approval because of that instance. Most of the members on the HIBC are general managers of the hotels and things like that throughout the valley, but certainly with our working relationship there, it's a great opportunity for the city of Palm Springs and the airport because of our relationship to the hospitality community on air service and marketing issues valley-wide. It's a unique opportunity to provide that insight to the committee.
So you want to do it?
Yeah.
Jane?
I've served on that committee, and that will be an asset to the airport because it's wealth of information that you get firsthand. Even if it's large conventions coming in, the airport helping, being able to help promote that, it'll be a great asset.
Great. All right, now, all those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Congratulations, Richard. And I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with all the hard work that means is going to happen. The terminal account of promotional space, tenant improvement, and rent reduction. Want to explain that to us, Barry?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I will. You probably saw on the very back a picture of what the terminal improvement will look like. We have been working with the Marriott Corporation, Desert Shadows, actually the timeshares, for since '94, actually. They've been in the airport. They've been a very good tenant. We are actually working ourselves to do some improvements to our courtesy phone board and our display rack, and we're actually going to add an additional display area along the column between the bag belt number 1 and 2, which will include 3 new plasma screens, which will be used for motion picture graphics, etc., for advertising. All of this is going to coincide and look the same. It will be aesthetically pleasing and it will be real similar in nature. With all that said, the Marriott is looking at about $14,000 to make this happen, and they have requested, in order for us to help them in this process, due to the fact that they are losing revenues from the timeshare sales out of the airport, to help support that through a rent reduction of $4,000 a year for the next 3 years. And we have done this before for other tenants. We're doing something similar for Signature in terms of offering them reduced percentage payments for the first couple of years to encourage their development. I think it's important for the airport. It helps make the airport look more professional. It upgrades the existing counters that we've had. That's actually that old counter that you were talking about that used to be down at the baggage claim desk many, many years ago. And it's still here, but with the ability to upgrade this, make it much more professional, much more encouraging for passengers to stop by and get information, we think it would be beneficial to the airport, both for the Marriott and for the airport. So we're asking that you support this.
Is that $4,000 a month or a year?
It's a month.
No,
A year, you can be a.
I'm sorry, that's
We
correct.
will owe them money.
But it says a month. It says a month.
Well, we get $22,000 a year, and they're requesting a $4,000 a year reduction for the next 3
Okay,
years.
but it says month
It
on
says
here.
month. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a lot. Typo. Thank you.
And this would be at the same location their exhibit presently sits?
Yes, sir.
We should have a motion on the floor.
I move to.
I'll second.
Seconded. All right, any other discussion? I think it's good business practice. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those who oppose?
We're
Carries.
the correction.
Pending the correction. Well, I think we already corrected it, but we did not, Mr. Beard.
Not, I want to get on.
Okay.
You'd like an exhibit.
He just likes that.
Updates. Mr. Smoot, this is your last chance to say something, really.
He's speechless.
I'm speechless. The inspection plaza is almost complete. We're actually still doing a few little things out there, working with the electronics and getting the systems in. Mike and his guys are working on getting that all put together. And so it should be fairly well up and running, hopefully here in the next couple of weeks, to where we've got all the pieces of it operating. And we're fully occupying and starting to use it. We'll actually have personnel in it starting tomorrow morning and be working there. Ever since we've opened the road, we've had some rather unusual experiences out there with people literally freaking out when they got to it. People trying to back up, driving over islands, going the wrong way, just unbelievable. We've had the pleasure of a few people rolling their windows down and expressing their nice statements to us about the roadway. But the bottom line is we're having less and less of those each day, so I think after people have discovered it once that, you know, this really isn't a shortcut anymore, that they won't use it. So I think it's going to work fine for us once we get the electronic bugs worked out and have everything operating. From an airport security standpoint, we've got TSA up and operating with all of their EDS equipment in the back row now. It's out of the lobby. The lobby looks a heck of a lot better. Passengers are moving through a lot quicker, and it's a lot less of a hassle. The checkpoint's working well with the 3 lanes. The line, even though at times gets long, moves quickly. So that's working good for us so far. So right now, everything's going fine. We've already talked about the vehicle inspection plaza and airport marketing. We've had a thing in there on the press release on Delta's changes. It was Delta, right? Yeah. That went out earlier in the week that we wanted to get to.
Tell us how busy the parking lot was.
Parking lot was very busy. As you know, we put that additional parking down there for employee parking, but we put it together in such a fashion that it could be used as overflow, and we decided to try it for Thanksgiving. And it overflowed. We actually had to park people down on the ramp area to the south and bring in a shuttle at the last second to take care of about 60 cars that were down there. And the staff over the weekend quickly worked on a bunch of things to keep the people happy and had them parking all over the place for a while so they could dump folks off and pick people up. Kind of caught us by surprise. Very seldom have we, not very seldom, never have we had a parking problem on Thanksgiving. It's always been between Christmas and New Year's. And so it must be that this year, a lot more local folks decided to go see Grandma and flew off and parked their car here because it was full and overflowing. So we know what to expect for between Christmas and New Year's. And plus, the traffic was really up. I mean, Alaska added an additional 5 flights to carry the overbookings that they had to get people in and out of here. So there's a lot of folks that want to come here, besides those who want to leave here.
Yeah.
So, between all of them, we had lots of cars.
That area down there, what's called the economy parking lot, now way down to the extra parking, we have no way of charging for that. We just get them there and let them park.
Well, we do have a way of charging. We have it fully set up and planned for. We did, in this case, we just let people park down there because they were, at that point, unhappy enough that there wasn't a place for them to park planned for. So at Christmas and between New Year's, we'll have it set up as a regular economy lot, and we collect the money ahead of time. Just ask them how many days they're going to stay, and they pay the shuttle operator.
Okay.
I don't guess it made them very happy we charged for the shuttle.
No,
Little boxes where you throw a quarter in when you step up.
$8 for the shuttle.
There you go. And we'll reduce lot parking to 7.
All right, any other,
Do you have a patrol on that lot down there?
Yes.
How'd the rental cars, did they run out of cars over the holidays, you know?
I doubt if they ran out. They usually plan pretty well for them, so I'm sure it was a big holiday for them. But this is the time of year that they really beef them up, and sure, seldom do they run out, but they usually have them parked all over the place.
my instinct is that the November numbers will be strong all around the airport. You see it every time you walk in.
Yes. A lot of people want to know.
Yes, could I ask Al a question? As far as security moving back behind the counters now, has there been any unhappiness by travelers over the inability now to relock their bags once they've gone through security?
I haven't heard.
There's been no problem.
I haven't heard of any major problems from it. I think for the most part, people have gotten used to the fact
They're
that
not-
fly their bags are going to go unlocked.
Yeah.
For the most part, because I think that most people are much happier with the lack of having to drag the bag around and watch them guy dig through your dirty socks or whatever as you're getting ready to fly back home. I mean, the convenience of just going back to what it was before, of dropping your bag and walking off. And I mean, if the bag is locked, they will either cut them or they'll bring the passenger back there to.
But there's not been any.
Hasn't been any problems with it.
Unhappy.
It's been very smooth as
Great.
far as I know.
I'm certainly glad you pointed out the dirty socks go on return trips.
Tell us when we take them on the rock.
Yeah, okay. Are there any added starters?
Mr. Chairman.
Commission requests and reports.
I'd like to say, as I approached the airport this morning, a little fear and trepidation, because I missed the grand opening of the rain the other day. And all I could think of was that old song of the 60s about the guy that's stuck in the RTA, couldn't find his way
Never
out.
returned. Never returned.
And I expected to be greeted by somebody with an Uzi at the, everything was green light, I drove right through it, they had a real challenge of making a very abrupt left turn to get over to the parking lot, and I guess that's the way it is. But other than that, things were fine and were smooth.
Good.
Mr. Chairman, where are we on the parking lot fee structure? Parking.
I read the minutes, and my sense was that we put it on the hold until you guys could come back with a better
Says
picture.
here before the December 3rd meeting.
Well, that's next year's December 3rd.
For the minutes, we included part of it. And
Yeah, and I was a little unclear in the minutes. Maybe you could kind of tell us where we are, Mr. Berry.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, we decided to just go ahead and implement your recommendation, and at this time, we are not moving forward with any other charges. We're going to reevaluate the entire parking lot due to the fact that we totally overwhelmed it this Thanksgiving, and bring back additional recommendations sometime in the future, but not right away. We're getting $8 a day, though, so that's very helpful.
And a buck for the first hour.
Yes, everything else remains the
No
same.
reduced half-hour rates.
All right,
Everything else remains the same.
Sometime this spring or damn near summer. Okay. So is that okay? Oh, Bill, is that okay?
As long as we don't wake up that it's been implemented.
Ah, good point. We won't. Will we, Barry?
It's the council.
Okay. All right. All right, any other commission requests and reports?
Just one comment, Al. The photograph that you sent around brought back some memories. I used to come up in the late 50s with my little racing car from San Diego. That's what the airport looked like then.
Yeah, so we gotta bring that back then.
I said one thing. I wanted to thank John for handling the meeting and handling the dedication to the security plaza. I understand it all went very well, and even the weather's good for you guys. Thank Gary for sending me a bunch of digital pictures the other day of it. I felt like I was almost there. I would tell you I thought about you a lot, but that would make I didn't remember it was Thursday, and I remembered that something was going to happen on Thursday, but that was as good as it got. Any other commissioner? Yes, Gary?
Yeah, I want to point out that, I don't know if you saw it in the paper, but Barry Freet is our expert weather predictor. He predicted the first day of the snow in Trent.
Oh, did you really? I didn't see
Actually,
my wife and I predicted.
Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you very much.
That's
Same
great.
paper, the same guy, celebrated his 30th anniversary, a picture of that?
Yes, sir.
Picture even looked like you.
Almost.
Get that model in there, it looks great. City council actions, I think the list is included. If there's any question, we'll discuss it. If not, it'll just become part of the minutes, Marjorie. Any correspondence? This silence means none. Thank you. Staff requests and reports.
Can we ask Al to stay another 30 years?
We can ask. Request denied. I don't think we're going to get a good answer on that one. Therefore, I would move that we adjourn, and I will see you in January. Meeting's adjourned.